Hello again everyone. I have one more video for you today. As promised, I'm going to show you some tips regarding using metallic threads. I know metallic threads annoy a lot of stitchers. Some of you have never tried metallics, and I know with the two stitch alongs that are coming up on January the 1st with the Save The Stitches and the Mirabilia, they both use metallic threads. So I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to show you some things I've learned along the way to help ease the pain of stitching with these threads. I have tried these methods myself and they help a lot, so hopefully they will help you too. Before I get on to the video though, something I forgot in the last video is I forgot to show you the framed piece that I stitched for my daughter, and I used Tara's framing technique, so thank you so much Tara. I pinned this myself, stretched it and pinned it, stabbed myself with the pins a couple of times but it all worked out in the end. I bought some purple fabric because I wanted to cover the mat frame with fabric, but in my rush I probably bought a cheap fabric and I wasn't really happy with how it looked once it was stuck onto the mat board. So so that my daughter had something to open on her graduation day, I cheated and I got a frame with a double mat board already in it. So the design is in there. Unfortunately, the frame isn't quite deep enough, so I need to put some wood trim on the back to enclose it better. But for now she has something for her room and she absolutely loves it. And as I mentioned in the video when I showed this as a finished piece, I started stitching the metallics the way most of you stitch metallics, and had a few headaches with it, and then I recalled a piece that I did many years ago and what I did for that piece. So I will show you that piece now. Show you the chart for it first. It is called Egyptian Rulers from Great Big Graphs, and I stitched King Tutankhamun. And this is him here. And this piece has 7 different metallics. They're blended metallics. There's 2 strands of DMC blended with 2 strands of metallic thread. And you could say after this piece I have had some experience with metallics. It's pretty much all of his, sorry it's hard to show you, hold this up and show you at the same time. All the blue areas in here are all metallic, well the dark blue. A lot of gold on his face is all metallic. And when I tried the tips I'm about to show you, it just made life so much simpler. It helps alleviate, you'll find when you stitch with metallics, you can be stitching along, well this is what happened with me. I was stitching along on this piece and quite happily, yep, this is going really well, and then about 20 stitches along I would stop, look at my needle, and then realise that the thread had all split. So what I was stitching was actually just the cotton. The metallic had gone a long time ago, was somewhere at the back of my work. And when I looked at the piece carefully, then I could see that, oh, that doesn't shine, and it's meant to. And so there was a lot of frogging done on this piece. So what I have to show you will help that, and it will also help prevent the jumbled mess that metallics seem to love to do to us at the back of our work. Again, you'll be stitching along, turn it over to go and finish off your thread and discover that somewhere along the line that you've got a big knotted mass of metallic thread at the back, and no one wants that, and that's going to sometimes you can get away with it, sometimes it can affect your framing. So, and at the end of the day, it doesn't look very nice. So hopefully these tips will help you. They definitely helped me, and I'll show you those right now. Okay everyone, let's see how this goes. So I'm going to show you this using a piece of 14 count white Aida, and I've got the DMC Jewel Effects, which quite a few people, quite a few stitchers have mentioned they don't like. They don't like stitching with them. I'm pretty sure, this technique will work with Krynics because I have personally used that. I have not used the Petite Treasure braid as yet. I will be using it on my Celtic ladies, but I am assuming it will work the same way. So, tip number 1, don't cut your piece of thread too long. When I stitch with DMC, I like to measure out from my tip of my thumb to my elbow, and I double it. When I stitch with metallics, I don't double it. I just do that one measurement, because the longer your piece of metallic, the more chance that you're going to get into trouble with it. It will either bunch up at the back or it will bunch up at the front and become a bit of a nightmare. Next tip, which is the best tip, is to knot the end of the metallic to the eye of the needle. This will stop it from fraying. That was my biggest issue when I stitched King Tutankhamun, was that the fraying would occur and I would still be stitching and not even realising it. So you just do a simple loop knot to the eye of the needle, just like that. I only do one. If you're working on a fine count fabric, I only suggest one, because as the knot comes through, you don't want to be dealing with that each time. If you're using a larger count fabric, you can certainly double that knot if you want to make it more secure. I do find after a period of stitching, the knot can loosen, or does loosen, and it's just a matter of just retightening it. It doesn't actually, it's never come off for me, but I just keep an eye on it and retighten it. Now the other issue is, regardless of what the chart tells you, how many strands to use, this method is working with one strand only. Okay, so if your chart says you need 3 strands of metallic thread, you're actually going to work, I'm going to show you how to work with 1 strand, but to work the stitch 3 times to achieve the exact same finish, but a much neater finish. Some might say it's a little bit more time consuming, but if you've ever had to fix the back of your work with a mass of jumbled metallic mess, you'll know what a nightmare that is. And in the long run, I believe this will save more time. You just have to remember to complete the stitch the amount of times that you need to. That's probably the hardest part about this, is just remembering that. Now the one negative is with 1 strand only, you obviously can't start with the loop method, which is my preferred method of starting. So you will need to anchor the end of your metallic behind quite a few strands of stitches at the back. Metallic is prone to be slippery, so you will need to make sure that it's well anchored. I would suggest maybe stitching in a few different directions before you start your initial stitch. So we'll pretend that I have just anchored my thread at the back, and my thumb is going to, on my finger, is going to keep an eye on that. Okay, so we're going to pretend my chart says I need 2 strands of metallic. So I'll complete the first leg of my stitch, and then I'm simply going to go back up through my first hole and back down, and I have now completed 2 strands of my first leg. I'll head up to finish off the last one once, and of course remembering to go back. Oh, can't find the hole. And twice. As easy as that. If you are a stitcher, like if you, on your chart, if you have a row of metallics that you need to complete and you prefer to do one leg and then work back to the other leg, you can certainly do that. You would just complete the first leg twice, as you would anyway, and then move on and do the next leg twice, and then come back doing each one twice. So that will certainly work. Works both ways. This way of stitching ensures that you'll have a nice flat stitch, and that's probably the worst thing about stitching with metallics is getting it to sit nice and flat on top. I tried this with the King Tut with the blended stitches and it worked completely fine. So the chart says I was supposed to have 2 strands of DMC and 2 strands of metallic, and I just used 1 strand of each and did this exact method, and it worked beautifully, and all the stitches on there are perfectly flat, no complaints whatsoever. And as I said, this will help eliminate, it might not stop it completely depending on how you stitch, but it will help eliminate getting that jumbled mass at the back, because you've only got this 1 strand to be in control of. As you can see, there's no jumbled mess back there. Really simple, really easy. As I said, just remembering to go back and do it twice. So I would suggest possibly leaving the metallics till the end, or doing a whole heap of metallics at once, so that you're in the habit of, okay, I've got to do each one of these twice. If you go from just doing your normal DMC stitches and then going to metallics, it'd be quite easy to forget. And I'd hate for you to have to frog it all and then curse me because you forgot to complete each one twice. So just have to keep an eye. So yeah, that knot's loosened there a little bit. Just give it a tug. Oops, see, it's already frayed. It's frayed off of the end there. Now if that was attached to my needle, that fraying wouldn't have stopped at the eye. It would have just continued on. And it's very important that you're very careful when you thread your needle with metallics as well, because it's easy, depending on the type of metallics you use. This one, sorry, my battery ran out on me there. So what I was saying was, depending on the type of metallics you use, depends on how many strands it's made up of. This particular one, the Jewel Effects, is 2 strands of metallic. I have worked with others that are 4 strands. So they can actually be quite tricky to even just thread the needle with, let alone stitch with. Oops. So as I said, with the piece I did for my daughter, I started stitching that just the normal way, and hated it already, and remembered this way. It's been years since I've stitched Tutankhamun, and I had completely forgotten. And then when I decided, oh, I'll go back to doing it like this, I finished it in a breeze. It was no problems at all. So I'll just show you, just jump down here because it's just a test anyway. Just like I was saying before, if you want to do a running stitch, just simply I'm leaving a gap just to make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. So just remembering to do each leg twice. You'll notice that knot's come loose again. I can still stitch with it, and I often do. It's not like, oh, you have to tighten it straight away. Right, so imagine I'm just completed my one leg, and then I can just head back and finish it off. And it's amazing how quick you can just get into the habit of doing this. It makes stitching with metallics so much easier. And I wish I had found out about it a lot sooner. And I'm grateful to be able to, for this community, that I can share this with you all, and hopefully I can help someone. I know a lot of stitchers say they hate metallics and they shudder at the thought of using them, and maybe just a different technique might help you. Might help you feel a little bit better about using them, because they certainly do add an amazing touch to the piece. Okay, as you can see, there's nothing. There's no mess at the back there. And then you would obviously just finish this off, running it through a few strands at the back. That's actually really well anchored just with that, and would have got five stitches at the back. That feels very secure. And then you just need to remove it from the eye of the needle. Well, hopefully that's helped you, and you can give metallics a try if you haven't tried before, or try this technique. Let me know. Please let me know what you thought of it. Thanks again for watching, and I will come back with another video very soon. Bye for now.